Are you free this weekend? I mean, what am I saying? Of course you're free. I'm not even sure why I asked in the first place. Oh, hi, Beverly. What's this all of a sudden? Don't just assume I'm free whenever you want me to be. I see your course as always. I'm contacting you because I'm planning to come over to your place this weekend. This weekend? You do realize that's tomorrow, right? You really should have given me some more notice than that. Yes, I'm aware of what day it is, thank you. It's all already been decided. I'll be coming over in the afternoon. I figured I didn't need to tell you further ahead of time because you're always at home as it is. I'm sorry, but that's not going to work. I'm extremely busy tomorrow. You? Busy? As if? I've heard it all from Brad. You're sitting at home all day, every day. Yes, and? Just because I'm at home doesn't mean I'm not busy. You can't just announce you're coming and expect things to go smoothly. It's not that simple. Oh, really now? Then tell me, what's supposedly making you so busy? This had better be good. Tomorrow there's a huge event happening. It's the 3rd-year anniversary event for Project Tiger. Project Tiger? I think I've seen ads for that when I'm trying to watch videos online. That's just a mobile game, isn't it? You're telling me that you're so extremely busy because of a video game event? I guess that's something only a shutting geek like you would enjoy. Us normal people couldn't possibly understand what's so important about that. No, I wouldn't say it's something I'm enjoying as such. Yeah, I get it. Look, I get you want to keep playing your little video games, but real life comes first, remember? I'm sure you'll get it once I come over, okay? Remember, it's tomorrow. No, you really don't understand. It's going to cause me no end of trouble if you do that. If you cause trouble, there's going to be serious consequences. Oh, serious consequences, huh? Yeah, you wish. I know you're just trying to come up with an excuse. I don't think you realize what your place is here. I'm the wife of the eldest son in the family, you realize. What say do you think a parasite like you has? We're not in your family's house. Your or my place doesn't make a difference here. I'm also not leeching off anyone. So you can stop with the parasite nonsense. Yeah, sure. There's plenty of people like you out in the world, you know. You're not some special case. You're just one of the many people who act like they're just entitled to the easy life they find themselves in, meanwhile not having earned a thing. Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I think you don't either. You clearly don't understand my situation whatsoever. That's enough blabbering. You're not going to change my mind. Anyway, I will be coming over tomorrow. Be ready. Fine, whatever. I'll see if I can find some time, but I can't make any promises. I'm guessing Brad will be coming with you? Nope. I'm going to be coming alone. It might be a weekend, but Brad's got some business he needs to go into the office for. Wait, what? Then why are you coming to begin with? What possible reason could you have to see me? Well, aren't you just nosy? Who says I'm coming because of you? Like I would need a shut-in like you for anything. Brad's going to be inheriting all of that property given enough time. In other words, that is eventually going to be all mine too. I don't think you quite understand how that works. But either way, that's nothing to worry about. I've already talked about it at length with Brad. We're pretty clear on the issues of inheritance, this property, and everything else. Well, if you understand it so clearly, then you should have no problem with me going in and out of that condo whenever I like. What sort of logic is that? You clearly don't understand a single thing about this condo or what my brother is going to inherit. What do you mean, what sort of logic? It's perfectly normal. I have a clear picture of what's going on here, unlike your wild delusions. You just don't want to accept the truth. I've had enough of arguing with you. I'm coming over tomorrow, and that's final. Fine, whatever. Just don't blame me if you get into serious trouble for it. Wow! You are just completely devoid of sense, aren't you? Did you actually manage to finish school, or did you pay for your diploma? Okay. Do you have some condition where your heart will stop if you don't say something rude every few minutes? All I did was tell you the truth and ask a simple question that logically came from it. Anyway, let's just focus on your lack of sense. Why are you wasting such a fancy condo? Oh, I'm wasting it now? And how might that be? If I'm lacking any kind of sense, it's the sense needed to understand your utter nonsense. How do you not realize this? You spend the entire day in your room on your computer, surrounded by nothing but video game paraphernalia. You're in such a good location in such a fancy condo in a luxurious tower, and you're just wasting all of its potential. All I'm doing is making sure I'm not being a burden on anyone else in the neighborhood. Not only that, but believe it or not, every piece of paraphernalia that you saw is essential. Don't you think you're being too much of a burden on your parents? Don't you see how much of an embarrassment you are? I fail to see how my parents have anything to do with this. I'm not an embarrassment to them in the slightest. And I fail to see how you could think I am. Really? Who do you think is giving you the privilege of living in such a fancy place to begin with? And squandering it like you are is just shameful. Okay, just stop. I really don't understand why you're acting like this. You've been like this since yesterday. You've just been going on, ranting about the condo, forcing yourself in, and berating me nonstop. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you, more like? I can't stand you. I can't believe you're Brad's sister. How could you turn out so much worse than him? Well, at least you finally let it out into the open. Not that you really surprised me at all with any of that. I pretty much saw it all coming a mile away. I have been living with your parents in a small, cramped, crowded house while you're living the most leisurely life imaginable. Not a care in the world. I still can't see why this is my fault. What do I have to do with your living situation? I left that place because you were so insistent on having your own room, remember? If anything, it's your fault rather than mine. Sure, I may have asked for my own room, but why did it have to be your old one to begin with? You were living with them to begin with because you don't actually do anything productive. Brad and I had talked through the living arrangements beforehand, remember? He agreed to house Mom and Dad. No, he only did that because he had no other choice. It would have been such a waste of money if we had to pay rent someplace. Okay, so what's the problem here? You save money this way, no? Why the hell do we have to be the ones living in your parents' house while you're in some fancy tower complex? What do you mean, why? Do you really think everything is my fault somehow? I simply moved here because I couldn't live at home anymore. It's not any more complicated than that. Yeah, but I never heard there was some condo that was available instead of moving to your parents' house. If I knew that was an option, I would have chosen to move there in the first place. Well, there was no reason for you to have to know about that anyway. I almost can't believe you're this stupid. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I'm telling you, you need to move out of there this instant. And once you leave, we will be moving into that condo. Oh? Is Brad saying that then? I can't say it's very believable coming from you. I haven't spoken with him about it yet, but it should be obvious to anyone that this is the better option. Oh boy. I suppose you would think that, wouldn't you? It's a real shame you're just acting rashly like this without thinking at all first. Oh, I'm the one acting rashly? Well, don't you sound complacent? Brad certainly seems to treat you with a strange level of kindness. However, I am his wife, and I am certain he will listen to my advice and follow it. Sure, he'll listen to you. But there is not a chance in the world that he will tell me I have to move out. I'll have you know that we're planning on having children. We've been talking a lot of things over, and we're starting to make some serious decisions. Okay, good for you. And? Why should I care about whether or not you want to start a family of your own? I see your judgment is as poor as your mind. The problem is that this house doesn't have a room open for a child to live in. Your condo, on the other hand, has plenty of extra rooms, doesn't it? For raising a child, a good environment is crucial, you know? Well, why don't you buy a house for yourself once you're actually pregnant? Sounds like a simple enough plan to me. Are you crazy? Why would we bother buying a house for ourselves when there's already a condo available for us to live in? Oh, you already have a condo available? And what condo might that be? You are aware that this condo is neither my brother's nor your property, aren't you? Sure, it might be in a different name now, but Brad will undoubtedly inherit it in the future. If you want to believe that, you're welcome to, but that's not going to happen. I think you'll be sorely disappointed if you really believe you'll get to keep that place. You had better get ready to move. Mark my words. What is going on here? What have you done? What do you mean by that? I can't say I have any idea what you're talking about. I left my place for just a few hours and suddenly everything's gone. Oh, that? I didn't do anything serious. I just cleaned things up for you. So it really was you, just as I thought. What have you done with all of my things? What do you mean by cleaned up? I sold them all off to someone who makes a living selling stuff like that. They didn't exactly fetch much of a price, though. What they did sell for, I've taken as payment for doing it all for you. Your room was just a total mess. Why the hell did you do that? How did you even get into my condo in the first place? Well, the last time I came over, I took one of the spare keys you had lying around. It's not like it was anything serious. Stop making such a big deal about it. You stole one of my spare keys? I had noticed it was gone, but I didn't think you would have stooped so low. Do you enjoy just committing blatant crimes or something? I can't believe you can act like this isn't a big deal. It's not a crime. That property is going to be mine anyway, since Brad's going to inherit it. Nothing's wrong with tidying up my own property. You're still going on about that? You haven't spoken to Brad at all, have you? You couldn't have, or else you wouldn't have done something so stupid. Why should I? He's spoiling you way too much. It's like you're a precious baby to him or something. All he keeps saying is that the condo is yours. Anytime I bring it up, it's like he becomes a broken record. What, do you have some dirt on him that you're holding over his head or something? So that's what you think is going on then? Well, I'll just talk to him myself then. So you're finally coming around then? And such a sudden change it is, too. Believe whatever you want. There's no point in talking to you. You have clearly shown you won't listen to a thing I say, so why bother? Vivian! What's going on? What is it now, Beverly? I'm pretty busy at the moment, so can you keep it quick? Don't act like you didn't have a hand in it. Brad's telling me he wants a divorce. Your mom and dad are also seriously pissed off at me. So he's breaking it off this quickly? That's my brother, doing his best to fix things quickly when something goes wrong. Don't you take that smarmy tone with me. You said something to him, didn't you? Call him this instant and take it all back. Fix this. Well, of course I said something to him. I didn't tell him any lies or exaggerate anything, as much as you seem to think I did. All I did was tell him the current state of affairs. You know, about you stealing my key and selling off the contents of my bedroom. When I told him that, he was appalled. He said he'd completely misjudged you and apologized to me for not clearing up the misunderstanding. He misjudged me? What did he mean by that? And what misunderstanding was he even talking about? All I did was prepare for us to move into the condo that he will rightfully inherit. There's nothing to misunderstand there. Actually, there is, and it's a pretty big one, too. Oh, really now? That condo is owned by your dad, isn't it? And I heard from Brad that you agreed to give up any right to an inheritance, too. That makes it Brad's. Yeah, no. This condo? It's mine. It's not owned by my dad. It's in my name. You went so far as to change the name of the owner? Do you really think you're going to get away with your conniving so easily? I haven't been conniving anything. I bought this condo myself. That's obviously a lie. There's no way someone like you could possibly afford a condo like that. I'm afraid you're wrong again. I originally bought that condo so I could use it as an office for my company. I figured buying it would be the best option, so I could do with it as I liked with little restriction. Might as well just consider it an important expense. Wait, what? What do you mean by your company? I heard you're always just staying at home. Well, of course I am. My condo is both my home that I live in as well as my office for my mobile game development company. That's what you've been doing all this time? Hold on. I remember you mentioning a mobile game before. That's right! You had said you were busy because of an event for some video game, right? What was it? Lion Project? Project Tiger, actually. But yes, that's right. Huh? That game is something you made? It wasn't some game you were just playing all day? Well, I do enjoy playing it, sure. But I am currently more focused on continuing its development with my team. So, you're telling me that the condo you're living in is actually yours? You actually own it? Brad told you that from the start, didn't he? You were just wrapped up in your own pig-headedness to pay attention. I am so sorry. I had no idea. Oh, that's just cute. Do you really think you're going to clear up everything you did with just a simple apology? What do you mean by that? Oh, look, can you please just talk to Brad and try to smooth things over? I have no idea what's going on at home with you and my brother, and frankly, I have no desire to find out. Please just go and get divorced or whatever. But wait, Brad is your brother, isn't he? Are you really saying you're fine with him getting divorced? Well, yes. Actually, I really hope he does. For his sake. He has nothing to gain from being married to someone as horrible as you. Horrible? But I really thought of you as my own sister. I thought we were like family to each other. Cut the crap. I don't think anyone would believe you with how you've treated me. I'd have to be brain dead to think of you as family. Hold on. I'll apologize for everything I've done up until now. I really am sorry. Please forgive me. And I say again, do you really think you're going to get away with just an apology? Right. I had sold all of the things in your room, hadn't I? Okay. I'll pay you back the money I got for them and then some. That should even things out, shouldn't it? You must be crazy if you think this can be resolved that easily. A lot of the items you sold weren't things that can just be bought again. What are you talking about? That was all just some gaming stuff, wasn't it? It should be easy to find those things online and buy them again. You're pretty rich, aren't you? Sure, my own personal items will be pretty easy to replace. But the same cannot be said for much of the others. Remember, I use that room as my office as well. Okay. I'm afraid I don't see what you're getting at here. There were a number of items that were crucial to my work. Some of the items I didn't even own. I had to lease the priciest ones. What do you mean, the priciest ones? When I sold the items, I only got maybe $1,000 for all of them combined? Yeah, you just sold them off to the first person willing to buy them, right? You sold my computers! Those weren't your run-of-the-mill laptops you find at some budget electronics store. Even just one of them cost me over $10,000. You realize that? You're just trying to spook me. There's no way a computer could ever cost that much. I've seen people talk about buying new ones for a couple thousand at most, but that's it. Yeah, sure, for home use. I am a professional game developer. The computer I primarily used cost me over 20 grand. Even if we take my personal items out of the equation, the amount of things you sold off are valued at a total of over $100,000. You're not going to say you're going to sue me for that amount, are you? Are you kidding? Of course I am. Do you have any idea as to just how massive an impact your actions have had? You haven't simply sold some computers and figurines. You've sold machines holding tons of proprietary data. Many of the figures you stole were prototypes for merchandise we were planning to release to coincide with new updates that no one has seen yet. By stealing and selling my things, you have potentially leaked a year or more's worth of unannounced releases, causing us irreparable damage. So yes, my company will most certainly be suing you. We are currently in the process of retaining legal staff for the litigation. Not only that, but I also plan to sue you personally for the things you stole that were my private property. Not to mention stealing my key and your unlawful entry. What? But that's a massive amount of money. You can't possibly expect me to pay all of that. Well, this isn't everything either. There's even more? Yes. Thanks to your meddling, our business operations have ground to a halt for the past few days. So along with the items you've gotten rid of, we'll also be suing you for the lost work time. It's only been a few days. What are you talking about? I imagine you have no idea how much money my company makes a month, do you? If I were to make a conservative estimate, I'd say my company earns about $50 million in revenue each month. However, we were about to start running our 3-year anniversary event when you messed everything up. Thanks to that, the event was delayed by 3 days, and I'd say we lost about $20 million thanks to failing to meet the deadline our marketing team advertised. That is such a ludicrous amount of money! And you think you're somehow going to get me to pay that much? And don't forget, if you sue me, that means you're suing your own brother, too. Do you really want to do that? I wouldn't be so sure about that one. Brad's already in the process of divorcing you, isn't he? There's no way I would consent to a divorce. Why don't you try telling Brad that, then? Why can't you talk to him and persuade him to not go through with it? I'm just a housewife. If I end up divorced, I won't have any money at all. If that happens, I'll have no choice but to file for bankruptcy. And if that happens, I won't be paying you anything. I'm afraid it isn't going to be that simple. You're going to be stuck having to pay me and my company back not because of your negligence, but because you were deliberately trying to cause me harm. Bankruptcy isn't just going to take your debts away for free. Don't suddenly go throwing walls of text at me. I don't have any idea what you're saying. Okay, then let me make it simple. Bankruptcy won't save you from me. Even so, I can't pay what I can't pay. I literally don't have the money to pay all of that back. I understand that, but you're forgetting that money isn't the only way to pay back a debt. We can still seize your property. You would do that to your own family? Don't you think you're going too far with all of this? Oh, so now you want to try to play the family card? Would family unlawfully enter my home, steal my things, and plan to oust me from my own home? That was just a misunderstanding. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing. Please don't go to such extremes. Well, I won't have to do much anymore, as the police are on their way anyway. The police? What are you talking about? Didn't you pay attention when I said you unlawfully entered my home? You even admitted to stealing my spare key. That's a crime. No two ways about it. And as I've said countless times already, you stole my things. Pretty valuable ones at that. Even if it's within the family, it's still considered a crime? How can you not understand this? It's obviously still a crime. I filed a police report for all of my stolen things. But I had no idea that was a crime. Look, I don't want to deal with your idiocy anymore. If that's the stance you want to take, you can explain it to the police. I don't think they'll be very receptive to that reasoning, though. So you're telling me that I'm going to be arrested? I can't go to jail. I couldn't survive a day in jail. Well, that's probably unavoidable at this point. But how about you use that time to think about what you did then? How could this have happened? All I wanted was to live in a condo instead of a cramped house. And yet now I'm met with the harshest treatment I've ever had in my whole life. The situation is just so horribly sad. My life is practically over now. You can sympathize with me, right? Right? Not in the slightest. Do you not have a heart at all? I think you're the one lacking a heart here. How can you be this cold to me? I'm your sister, aren't I? Aren't we family? No, I don't consider you a part of my family. I refuse to think of you as someone related to me at all. But why? Apart from how your actions have shown, you don't deserve the kindness. As a business owner, I can't afford to be related to criminals. That would do a real number on the reputation of my business. It's for that reason that I'm going to block you. You can expect to be contacted by one of my company's lawyers not too long from now. Hey, look. I was always an only child. Ever since I was a kid, I always wanted a little sister. So when I got married and learned that you were Brad's younger sister, I was overjoyed. Sure, we might not have been blood related, but we're definitely sisters, aren't we? We may have run into a bit of a misunderstanding, but we're still sisters, right? Come on! It's not telling me you're seeing any of these. Why won't the word red appear? Don't tell me. Don't tell me you actually blocked me. Please, I'm begging you. Please help me! A short time later, Beverly was arrested for unlawful entry and theft. She was found guilty, but wasn't given a prison sentence. That said, she did now have an official criminal history, so that's going to stick with her forever. And of course, she and Brad got divorced. I followed through with my threats as well, suing her both from my position as owner of my company, as well as personally as a private citizen. I of course refused to settle either case out of court, and in the end, Beverly got hit with a judgment of $25 million. While I do look back on this whole situation with disgust, I'm the kind of person that tries to turn every situation into something beneficial. Using the experience from this trial, I decided on the next game our company would develop. It ended up being called Lightning Lawyer, a game where you play as a lawyer and try to solve as many cases as possible. It was a huge hit, and it gave my company even more business than I could have ever imagined. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, and subscribe.